Hey everyone, and welcome to the NintendoFuse Podcast. This is episode 339, recorded on May 19th, 2026. On this episode, we're going to be talking about so many news items on this episode. But among the top main discussion that we're going to have, of course, is going to be Star Fox coming back to Nintendo. Or I guess it's always been there, but we're getting another game, which is really just a remake of a remake, and we'll get into that in just a bit. But then also, Nintendo has shared their sales results recently in their investor briefing and raised some prices on us. Well, we'll soon raise some prices. And again, like I said, there's tons of more information and news that we're going to get into in this episode, along with what we've been playing and upcoming games as well. My name is Steve, and of course, I am joined by Barry and Greg. Barry, how you doing?
Hey, everybody. I'm doing. It's been busy, that's for sure. Life has not slowed down, and the games have not slowed down. There have been a ton of games we're going to get into, but we have a lot of game chats coming up. I've been very busy. We got
Sure.
a lot of great indie titles have been launched over the past, 2 weeks. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah. We've posted a lot recently. I finally got caught up on some editing and been posting a ton of game chats and reviews on our YouTube channel. So if you haven't checked us out lately, if you haven't subscribed over there, make sure you do so because there's lots on there and there's lots more coming, like Barry just said. Greg, how you doing?
Doing all right, just hanging in there. Yeah, I had a pretty fun weekend. I went to the Anime Central Convention here in Chicagoland area at the Rosemont Convention Center, so that was also a lot of fun there too. But yeah, but as Barry
Nice.
said,
Any
very busy
gaming
with
stuff
games.
there?
There was I mean, outside of like the Pokemon plushes and like playing cards and stuff for anything that's Pokemon related, which there was plenty of. Um, there was like a one booth selling some like games, and I went to check it out, and they had like a Mario Kart like 64 for like $75. I'm like, that seems like it's overpriced, but I mean, it wasn't like new in box or anything. Like the label was like severely worn and faded, and like, so I was like, wow, that's feels kind of expensive for that kind of game, even though I already have the cartridge for it, but I was just using it as an example here. But it seemed like a lot of the games I was flipping through, they seemed like they were more on the expensive side, so I didn't really spend a lot of time going through to see all the different like 64 and like NES and Super NES games that they had there, along with some other systems like Genesis and other stuff they had too.
Hmm, nice. Nice. Yeah. Events are cool. We're going to be talking about a couple that I'm going to be heading to pretty soon. But if you are new to the podcast, make sure that you subscribe and hit that like button if you're watching live on YouTube or Twitch. Make sure you like it, but also let us know if you're watching. Let us know in the live chat. We love interacting with you guys throughout the entire episode as we talk about what we're playing, as we talk about all the different headlines and news items and upcoming games. We love to hear what you guys have been playing as well, but also all your thoughts on all the news that we're going to discuss in this episode. So be sure to say hi and let us know all your thoughts and stuff in the live chat. Also, if you haven't subscribed to us or followed us on social media or joined our Discord, all those links are going to be in the show notes, but also in the YouTube description. We'd love for you to have you over there as well. And just another reminder, we've heard from a few of you that you would like us to have a Patreon to be able to support us, which is pretty awesome that you guys want to do that. So we are working on it. And we still need some feedback from you so that we can actually build this the way that you want it to be. So if you haven't yet, please let us know either on Discord or just send us an email, podcast@nintendofuse.com. That'd be great to hear from you so that we make sure that we build this Patreon with tiers and benefits and stuff that you actually want to see on there rather than just our crazy ideas. So make sure you do that. Let's jump into what we've been playing. Before we do that, quick hello to Millennium Falcon, jumped in the chat and said hi. And yeah, let us know what you've been playing as well. But Barry, we'll go to you first. Share what you've been playing over the last couple weeks. Just a few games.
Yeah, I've been busy. A lot of it's game chat stuff. A lot of codes came in, but on the Switch, still doing my usual Pokemon Unite, Asphalt Legends, and Pokemon Champions, my daily plays. In game chat territory, I've been playing a game called Quartet. It is a JRPG with some really unique connectivity between the characters. It's a lot of fun, but Greg and I will be doing a game chat on it soon. Playing some more of a game called Race Rocket Arena Car Extreme, which is like racing with a little Twisted Metal Vigilante, a Mario Kart style. It's interesting. We'll talk more in a game chat. I have a review coming for Q Collection, which is a combination of three games called Q Remastered, Q2 Humanity, and Q with VTubers. These are puzzle games. These were originally released, I believe, for the PSP. They are simple puzzle games with like the touch screen and you draw stuff, but it involves gravity and it's simple in concept and it is very challenging. So you will really rack your brain on it, but I look forward to that review. Uh, we talked about it last podcast, Dungeon Crawler, when we were going through all the indie stuff. My friend came through and thankfully provided us some codes. So as a follow up to last episode, we will be doing a game chat on Dungeon Crawler, but as the roguelike crane game RPG. Uh, the biggest game I think I've played all 2 weeks has been a game called Lumen Tale Memories of Trey, which comes out, I think, in 2 weeks or maybe a week from the time of this recording. And this is a Pokemon style RPG, but very different mechanics and changes it up significantly. And it's like HD 2D graphics, like 3D world with sprites, HD sprites running around and there'll be a review coming. But let me just say, I put 50 hours into this game, so that's a very meaty one. And then the other games I played on the Switch, I'll talk about shortly as I move to the Switch too, because those aren't the only game chat games I've been playing. Working my way right now through Mina the Hollower, the Switch 2 edition. I received codes from Yacht Clubs, so I've been playing that. If you haven't seen it, it's a Zelda style, like 2D Zelda style game, but with like some almost like Dark Souls esque challenge and the risks that like Hollow or Shovel Knight had. So stay tuned for that. And then R-Type Dimensions 3, which is a remake of the third R-Type game back from the Super Nintendo era. And classic shmup, and there'll be a game chat on that. But I decided upon playing that to kind of do a little mini marathon of the R-Type games on Switch. So I went back on Switch and I played R-Type Dimensions EX, which is a remake of the first two games. R-Type DX Music Encore, which is a port of the Game Boy Color R-Type game, which is really R-Type 1 and 2 for the Game Boy that only released in Japan but in colorized. So it's kind of like interesting to see a demake. The Dimensions is like 3D remake, and then this is like a demake version. And then R-Type Delta HD Boosted, which I believe was originally on the PlayStation. And finally, R-Type Final 2, which is the sequel to what was supposed to be the final game in the series. And I can tell you this, I am not a fan of R-Type, at least not
Wow.
of the classic version of R-Type.
Hmm.
I like shmups where if I die, I start right there and I get a few lives at least, or at least I have a hit box or like a HP. R-Type gives you one hit, you're dead with checkpoints. And if you don't make it to the next checkpoint, you die, you start over, and you have to grind that area until you get good at it. Thankfully, the Dimensions games give you an infinite option. So if you die, you just start over right where you died, and you can just play and enjoy. But the other ones are all classic, and I am not a fan of classic. I just do not like to replay sections over and over and over again. So I learned this very quickly, and I was like, oh, I think at the time R-Type hit differently. I mean, IRIM is a big company. We've done reviews for the IRIM collections before, and obviously they did R-Type. But I feel like that style has kind of come and gone, and more modern shmups are a little more user friendly. And I think if they all just had the option, I'm not saying remove it, just give me the option of classic or infinite like the Two Dimensions games do, I'd be a much happier camper.
Hmm.
But some of those bosses, they don't even tell you like when you're hitting them. Like you just have to keep shooting and hope that you're hitting the right spot. There's no indicator,
Nope.
and then
You just gotta learn
you're
it.
like, and you have no idea how close you are to death, killing it, and then you die and you have to do the whole thing over. I'm like, nah, I'm done. Ain't nobody got time for that. So then, still playing Pokemon Pocopia, doing daily stuff, and helping my wife out. Kirby Air Riders had an event this weekend, so went and did that. And then on the PC, still doing Final Fantasy 14, and on mobile, Mario Kart Tour, the LinkedIn games, New York Time games, Pokemon TCG Pocket, Dissidia, Duellum, Final Fantasy. Very, very little. But Dragon Quest Smash Grow has definitely taken over, man. That game's a lot of fun.
Nice, nice. Millennium Falcon says that he totally agrees with you. Grinding through shmups without continuing where you left off. Not for him either. Greg, what have you been up to?
First, I will follow up on my thing. I did get a little Kirby figurine for anyone that has the video
Oh,
version
yeah.
of this. So, like, it was one of those gachapon machines where you put in tokens or whatever. So that was kind of fun there. So, forgot to show that off at the top when I talked about that. But for the main games, as Barry said, we're doing the Dungeon Crawler and also Quartet. So stay tuned for some game chats on those games. The primary game I was mostly playing was the Pokemon Pokopia. So sorry, I just had something in my throat. But yeah, it was. I actually just got the credits to roll just over the weekend here, so like I did complete the main, I guess, storyline ish type thing, and then there's like some like post game stuff if you especially want to go towards like all the like collecting all the Pokemons and their habitats and everything like that. So I don't know how much I'll go through that, but I will try to do what I can here. So I
What do you think
really
of the final ability?
still haven't really played around with the actual like building part of it. I've only done just flying around. I haven't really tried to figure out how the building thing even works. So um
You can place 1 block, 4 blocks, or 9 blocks at a time, vertical or horizontal. And if you push the right stick down, like R3, it switches between placing and swapping. So, like if you have grass and you want to make a road, you can put a 3 by 3 square of 9 blocks of a road, and you can actually just put it literally on the grass, like replacing the grass, and you just push a button, it auto replaces the grass and pulls it into your inventory. And then you just fly ahead and you can just make a road in seconds. You don't have to dig it all up and replace it.
That sounds phenomenal because lots of different habitats and destruction that I was doing in the town area get that becomes your visible dream area. But like a lot of stuff, I had to like flatten off these surfaces because I built all three of the large like legendary Pokemon buildings there, and then of course like the map thing requires you to have like an 18 by 18 like grid of like available like flat surface or whatever it is, and like that was a lot of like evening out all the mountains and stuff to make space or like adding ground to level like make it all the same like s- whatever the same elevation for the entire building. So that was kind of fun. Um I
No,
do
it's
have
easy.
one. Yeah, there is one little caveat thing to it. I did notice that one of those buildings I just talked about, these ones went off the map, but it didn't actually like prevent me from doing that. So then I had assembled all the Pokemon to build it. Then I also had all the materials already pre in there. And I was like, sorry, we can't build this structure. And I'm like, what? Like, why? Like, it doesn't even say like, oh, why do you let me place it to extend beyond the border maps of the buildable area? That's not fair. So like you should not let me place it there if it's can't be placed there. But
Well, it lets
um
you place it there, but it's red. That way, if there's an area you want it, you can place it, and then you can see what you have to level out or where you have to build up. But it will the whole thing goes red, so you know you can't build it.
yeah, I don't think you should even be able to put down the thing because that was a lot of I had to like drop stuff out of my inventory because I had all the stuff already pre-put in there once I first dropped it down, and then like there was something that could have been handled a lot better, not necessarily just let you know after all the Pokemon are already standing around waiting to build and you have all the materials there, and then a full inventory, and then you have to drop stuff in the inventory just to reclaim the buildable items, just to move the building so it's within the boundaries, and then you have to go talk to all the Pokemon again to like tell them to build this thing now. So it's like that was a huge hassle that could have easily been prevented by saying like, "Hey, you can't build this here. This is not like on the map." So I don't know. I used to like those have those kind of boundaries in place and not just like making the assumptions that you can just go out far, like out to sea or whatever. But anyways, but yeah, that was Pokemon Pokepia. Then still doing my mobile games a lot less lighter this time around because I was a lot more into Pokemon, but still doing some Cookie Run Kingdom, the Roblox 2 games, the Dandy's World, and Adopt Me type games. So nothing really a whole lot going on there. Just smaller game updates in both of those, and nothing really of note to really mention.
Nice. Well, I also played some Pokemon, not Pokopia, but played and also saw some credits in Pokemon Legends ZA finally. And I gotta say,
Wow.
guys, I really liked this game in the beginning. The more I played of it, not so much. Like, there's a lot of like nonsense that happens in this game. They're just sending me around to do things. I'm so glad there's fast travel, but because
Yeah.
there's fast travel, it makes so much of the like quests pointless. Like, or like, oh, go talk to me here. Well, I fast travel over there. They say one word. Okay, I gotta go over there. Talk to her over there, and they just carry on conversations. I'm like, this is so dumb. Like, why not just take me where you need to go? Because I can just fast travel like there, just carry that on. And so that's kind of silly.
What do you
And
think of that whole
then
final ending sequence, though? That was badass.
um kind like the final
The
one,
final,
yes,
yeah,
yes,
like the
getting
final
there
fight.
was kind of annoying. um
Yes.
like playing all those rogue like Pokemon again, like, was just flat out annoying. Honestly, most of the time I found places where I could just like stand back and watch my teammates like fight it out, and then I came in and looked like the last hit and took them out or something like that. So that's usually what I did. But anyhow, yeah, it's kind of silly, and the post game stuff is kind of like, I don't like having to go and grind every time to get a stinking challenger ticket. Like, so annoying. Like, just let me go do things. Like, that was kind of annoying. I am glad
One
that
beats now.
they didn't like that I didn't actually have to go all the way from Z to A, because like I was really thinking I was going to have to, and eventually, they fast track you up to like H or L or whatever it is, and I was like, oh, thank goodness, because like this is going to take forever if I have to go through all 26 levels.
Well, to see the final, like the true ending of the story, you kind of do, because you have to do 15 post-game rounds. So it's the 15 you skip, then you do it there, but it's completely
Yeah,
optional at that point.
I don't think I want to. Uh, it's just going to take forever, and it's not a fun grinding at that point. I'm just like, ugh, this is, well, tedious. Anyway, but I enjoyed it. But I just, as the game went on, I realized I'm not enjoying it nearly as much as I was at the beginning of this game. Um, but played some race, the Rocket Arena Car Extreme, or yeah, Car Extreme that Barry talked about earlier. We're gonna have a game chat on that one, and yeah, I it yeah, what Barry, how Barry described it is pretty accurate. And so yeah, it's kind of fun, but it's got its little quirks to it that we'll get into more in the game chat. Also played some Dungeon Crawler, and played a lot more of that than I was expecting to. The hours just passed by, I'll say. And I also played another game called Constance that came out not too long ago. That it's an action platform, Metroidvania kind of game, and yeah, I'm having a really good time with that so far. There is a certain point where I like a lot of times happens with Metroidvanias, and you get to this point where you're like, I don't know how to continue on. This one, I'll just say you can go up. and I didn't realize that. I was just trying to go left and right, and try to go from one screen to the next, and what level to the next, and all that stuff. And I was like, I got to this point where I was like, I don't know where to go. I have backtracked and forward tracked and backtracked again. It's like, where do I go? How do I actually make this happen? And then finally, I looked up, and there's like this glowing thing from the ceiling. I was like, maybe I'm supposed to jump up there. And yep, that's what it was. So after that, I continued to progress, and it's been fun. So I'm enjoying it so far. And then shout out to the Switch 2 recommendation page, because a few months ago I checked out my games that you might like page on the Switch 2 eShop, and there was a game called Yoku's Island Express that I don't know if I'd remember seeing or anything, but it's a 2018 Switch game, and it recommended it to me based on what I've played, which totally made sense. As soon as I saw this game, I was like, hey, that might be something I'd enjoy. And it's another action platformer, a little bit of Metroidvania kind of thing as well, but it's also pinball built into it as well, which is kind of cool. And so I was like, yeah, I'll check out the demo, because they have a free demo. And played through the demo, really enjoyed it, and bought the game because it's 80% off right now for $3.99. So I went ahead and got it. I haven't played the full game yet, but I played the demo and really enjoyed it. And similar to Barry, as I was playing, getting ready for R-Type 3 Dimensions, I booted up the SNES Classics app on Switch and played Super R-Type, played through that. And I have a special place in my heart for Super R-Type. It was the first R-Type game that I ever played. I got it through a weird thing that my sister was doing a test at a hospital thing, like not like a bad thing, but just she was doing some testing, and they wanted to, like, they gave me video games, like, because I was there with her. And so Super R-Type was one of the games that they gave me. And so I played it like a lot back on the SNES, and so played through that on the Switch, and just getting ready for the new one that I have not booted up yet, but will be very, very soon. And then on mobile, played Pokemon TCGP and Clash Royale, and that's about it. So, going to the chat, looks like Millennium Falcon also says, good to see you here. Can't believe it's only Tuesday. I feel like I need a warp pipe to skip to the end of this week already. And then also asking, do we like Pokopia more than Legends ZA? I have not played Pokopia. I don't plan on getting it, mostly because I don't like I've decided to lean more into that style of game, at least for Animal Crossing, and I do not have the time to sink into Pokopia from what I hear everybody else talking about it. So I've decided not to get it. Greg, did you get both?
No, so I was I'm the exact opposite. So I only have the Picopia, and I didn't get Legends ZA. Hasn't really been on my radar quite yet, but I'm thinking only Barry is the only one of the three of us that has both of them, where he bridges the gap between me and Steve and can make the judgment call.
Yeah, they're very different games. I mean, Pokemon Legends ZA is more classic Pokemon with the action, but it's also like constant action. It's not turn-based. And Pokopia is casual build and create, and zero battles at all. It's all just rebuilding and doing whatever you want, like playground. So if you enjoy games like Animal Crossing, you will, or Dragon Quest Builders, you will absolutely love Pokopia. If you enjoy, classic Pokemon or RPGs, you will more like Legends EA. And if you like both, like me, then you'll like both. So at least give them a try.
Nice. Just a little bonus. Want to let you guys know that I'll be off to 2 events very, very soon. So Fan Expo Denver is coming back to Denver on May 28th through the 31st. And so they moved it up this year. Usually it's in July. And so this year it's going to be at the end of May. And there's lots of gaming content this year. They started to add more and more gaming content to Fan Expo. And so I'll be there. They've got some like open gaming and some tournaments, and several voice actors from different video games over the years are going to be there. And so I'm going to try to check it out and report back on our next podcast on what we see, and maybe post some stuff on our social media and things like that too. So excited about that. If you are also going to be in Fan Expo Denver, please, if you see me walking around, say hi. And then I also got an invite to be able to check out Summer Game Fest play days. So I'll be there June 6th and 7th. I won't be able to stay the entire time, but I'll be able to go to on that Saturday, Sunday to Summer Game Fest play days. So I'm going to try to get as much time as I can seeing and playing games that haven't come out yet. And it's kind of a little taste of what I used to do going to E3 every year. So I'm looking forward to it, checking it out. And again, I'll report back on all that I see and do and everything on future episodes. And maybe you'll see other additional videos depending on what kind of coverage I'm able to get and things like that throughout the event. So yeah, maybe I'll get to see Jeff Keighley in person. We'll see. But yeah, let's move into our headlines. And we've got a lot on this episode. Lots of stuff's been going on. And as Barry and I were talking before we hit record, or before we go live, we're not even touching on everything. There's so much else that's also happening in the gaming world, but we're trying to touch on the things that directly have impacted Nintendo. But there's also several other adjacent things that are going on as well. So if you're like, what about this? What about that? We only have so much time, so we're going to focus on these things. But yeah, anyway, let's jump into these headlines, and Barry's going to kick us off.
So there was one amiibo that has been announced, and we heard nothing about it. We figured it was announced last year. It's dead in the water. But no, randomly Nintendo has just let us all know that the Minerva's Construct amiibo from Tears of the Kingdom will be arriving on September 17th. And if you use it in Tears of the Kingdom, you will receive a unique design for Link's paraglider that glows in the dark.
Another thing that they also kind of announced here recently is your choose your game bundle. So you get to now pick a game that to go along with your Nintendo Switch 2 that if you purchase for a limited time and starting here in early June, you get to pick one of like let's see, three different games that you can add on just for only a value of $29.99. It's a digital code. It still includes Mario Kart World, but then you could also choose either Donkey Kong Bonanza or Pokemon Picopia. So, if you haven't gotten a Switch 2, here's a good chance to pick one up with one of these three games.
Well, just the other day on May 10th, Playism had their game show. We had 10 games that were shown off on this event on May 10th. Most were for PC and Steam, but one was actually for Nintendo Switch. Devil Connection, the devilishly cheeky adventure game developed by KO Games, summons new adventures on Nintendo Switch sometime this year in 2026. So if you want to check that out, head over to playism.com.
And last episode, we talked about how GameStop CEO just woke up one day and randomly decided, I'm going to buy eBay. And now we have the conclusion, or at least a perceived conclusion to this whole crazy fever dream saga. eBay pretty much put out a letter on May 12th to GameStop CEO Ryan Cohen and said, in quote, "We have concluded that your proposal is neither credible nor attractive. We have taken into account such factors as 1, eBay's standalone prospects, 2, the uncertainty regarding your financial proposal, 3, the impact of your proposal on eBay's long-term growth and profitability, 4, the leverage, operational risks, and leadership structure of a combined entity, At 5, the resulting implications of these factors on valuation. And 6, GameStop's governance and executive incentives. Pretty much, it was a polite way of saying, go screw yourself.
Thankfully, that we don't get this kind of message from this next headline here. So, on Twitter, or I guess X, on May 13th, we got something from Miyamoto, and basically it was saying that he was going to let us know the worldwide theatrical release for the live-action Legend of Zelda movie has now been moved up to April 30th of next year. So, it was previously scheduled from at May 7th, so it's like a good 7 or 8 days there, depending on how you look at it. And he just says the team's been working hard to deliver the film to everyone as soon as possible. And then there's less than a year to go. And thank you so much for waiting. So, is anyone else really excited to see the new Legend of Zelda movie? Because I know I am.
Nintendo also put out alert says that on May 27th, the My Nintendo store will change its name. It's no longer going to be My Nintendo Store. It's now going to be the Nintendo Store. That's it. That's the news.
And we go from something short, which of course Steve would give himself, to Pokemon themed airport is opening soon. According to the Cerebi article, the Pokemon Company have announced that the first Pokemon themed airport is to open on July 7th, 2026. It is the Noto Setoyama. See, Steve just didn't want to say that. Pokemon with You Airport, and opens in Noto, Japan. This theming of the airport will run from July 7th, 2026 until September 30th, 2029, as part of the Pokemon with You charity campaign, which works to help revitalize areas. Throughout the airport, there will be Pokemon designs and artwork, and various special visitor areas that will be themed with it. There'll be 3 original shorts available to watch at the airport, and the airport restaurant will have special Pokemon themed foods. There will also be some special merchandise within with the airport's logo available for purchase.
And now on to the Nintendo Music app updates. So on May 7th, we got 10 of the tracks from the upcoming Star Fox game that we'll be talking more about in a moment in our main discussion here. But then on May 14th, we got 18 tracks from Yoshi from the Game Boy, and also 11 tracks from that same titled game Yoshi on the NES. So be sure to check those out on the Nintendo Music application to listen to some great new tracks here.
And Lego is continuing to partner with Nintendo, but something that if you don't know about Lego is they retire their sets sometimes, and that's going to be happening to the Great Deku Tree set, the 2-in-1 set that was originally launched in September of 2024. It contains the bricks and instructions to either build the Great Deku Tree from Ocarina of Time or Breath of the Wild. It's going to be soon retiring. It doesn't actually say on the website when it's going to be retiring, but people who are familiar with the matter have said get it before July 2026. However, it's currently back ordered, so good luck.
Speaking of Lego, and speaking of things being removed, Lego 2K Drive is being delisted and taken offline on May 31st, 2027. 2K Games announced they would be removing Lego 2K Drive from the digital storefronts on why'd you put it's 2026 it's coming off. Why'd you put 2027, Steve?
That's when
May 19th,
the
2026.
multiplayer is
Oh,
going
the
down.
offline.
Sorry. Yeah.
Gotcha. So it's being delisted on May 19th of this year, literally today.
Yep.
Marked exactly 3 years since the game's release. It is available physically, so you can still buy that. The digital version, of course, is gone, as will the DLC. However, they will keep the online multiplayer servers up on to May 31st, 2027. Thankfully, there's a lot of single player stuff, so you can still enjoy that. I did hear something about the DLC possibly needing internet to access. I don't know, I haven't played it, but that one of the biggest losses is user created content. You were able to download different cars and stuff that people create, and there's some really creative people out there, and that unfortunately will be gone.
Adding on to more things being removed, and also some more movie news here. So I guess it gets to be more removed from the theaters, the Super Mario Galaxy movie, because now you can buy it digitally today. I'm sure not all theaters; it's probably still showing it there. I was just trying to make a joke and a transition from the last two stories, but on You can go available digitally starting today on like Fandango, Xfinity, Prime Video, Apple TV, YouTube, Dish, Verizon, Spectrum, Row 8, and Kaleidoscope. You can purchase a digital copy of the film on any of those platforms. But then also in just a little under a month here, you can get the physical copy on June 16th, which includes like the 4K UHD, the Blu-ray, and DVD at your local Target or Walmart stores, in addition to Amazon and Groove.
And Nintendo has updated the Virtual Boy classics on Nintendo Switch and Switch 2, or sorry, available, yeah, on Switch and Switch 2. We now have V Tetris, Jack Bros, Space Invaders Virtual Collection, Virtual Bowling, and Vertical Force. So all 5 games are now available to play. Those dropped on May 13th. And also, Japan got a 6th game in Virtual Fishing, but not available here in the United States. But if you have a Japanese account, you could probably just download it that way.
And big things are happening on May 27th, as that is Dragon Quest Day. And the lead of Dragon Quest, Yuji Horii, did a podcast, and at the end of the podcast said, "We'll do a live stream on May 27th. I think we'll also be able to announce the next title / work. There are various other things besides the next title too. Please look forward to it." He never specifically said what games, but considering 5 years ago they announced Dragon Quest 12 and we got a logo and we haven't seen anything since, maybe we'll finally get something.
Yeah, just after that presentation the following day, there's an insider gaming showcase on May 28th. So then the official press release states the showcase is at no cost to the games involved and will feature back-to-back trailers during the show. Alongside the broadcast, there'll be interviews with the developers to learn more about their careers and the games that they're making. The insider gaming showcase will feature more than 50 games, including several world premieres, first looks, and release date announcements. Some of these games have been confirmed for the event are Azure, Project Madras, AGX, GPX, and the Terminal War.
And as I alluded to earlier, Summer Game Fest is coming back on June 5th. That's going to be the live show on that evening of Friday, June 5th. And then it's going to be followed with the play days on June 6th, 7th, and 8th. But then everything's actually going to kick off with the Latin American Games Showcase and the women-led games events on June 4th. So Thursday is officially when they're kicking off with some of those events, and then the big live event happening on June 5th. And then Day of the Devs will also be on June 5th. Story Rich Showcase will be on June 6th. The Xbox Games Showcase will be on June 7th. And again, play days will stretch from June 6th through the 8th. And I'll be there for a couple of those days.
And speaking of shows, the biggest gaming show right now going on is Gamescom. And Gamescom 2026 is happening August 26th to the 30th. And Nintendo will be back. They'll be over in Cologne, Germany to showcase some really cool stuff, hopefully. Maybe there's a Nintendo Direct in June and, they'll be showing off some fall and holiday games. Who knows? We'll see.
And out of nowhere, we got a new game for mobile that was announced by Nintendo. So I guess they now have this Picto Nico type game. It's a free to start smart device game. It's all about having fun with pictures. You can choose either existing photos or take even brand new ones, and you can play mini games with your friends and family. You can rediscover some old photos of loved ones and see them in a whole new light as they navigate from zombie attacks, quirky costume changes, carnival challenges, and more. Try a few games for free and then expand the fun by purchasing additional volumes to unlock up to 80 minigames in total, ranging from easy to tricky. This collection of comically chaotic minigames will let you encounter your photos in surprising ways, like skydiving with your grandma or watching your cousin perform as a ballerina. Plus, you can save the outlandish outcomes you've just discovered as images or videos, and you can share them with friends and family for more fun and laughter together. So you can You can download and start it for free when it launches on May 28th.
Nice. That thing came out of nowhere for sure. Looking at the chat real quick before we get into our discussion. Millennium Falcon says that they should call it y'all's Nintendo Store instead, which should be funny. And then also a big fan of 2K Drive. Been great to see it live longer. Guess I'll have to wait till the new Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight. Does that have a date for Switch 2 been finalized? I don't believe it has. So Barry, lots of headlines, lots and lots and lots and lots of headlines.
Wow.
What stands out? What do you want to chat about?
All right, let's just get started at the top. I'm happy Mineru's construct is finally coming. I have it pre-ordered, ready to go. And another amiibo news, we didn't talk about it, but the was it the Leon and the I forget the other character from Resident Evil
Oh,
9.
from
They
Resident
had
Evil.
Grace. Yeah, Grace. They have their amiibos went up and they sold out like 12 hours later. So I don't think they're making a lot of third-party amiibo, but I'm sure they'll be available on Nintendo's website. But yeah, those went up as well. But I'm glad Minero's construct is a thing. It's nice to see more Zelda love. The Switch 2 Choose Your Game bundle is a really neat. I still think if you're going to if more than one of these games interest you, I still think you should get Mario Kart World because it's the only $80 game there. So you'll actually save money. If you get like Pocopia and then buy Mario Kart separately, you'll pay more than getting Mario Kart in the bundle and then buying Pocopia. So that's just my 2 cents, but I'm glad they're doing something. It's kind of something I suggested years ago with like the Wii U and definitely the Switch,
Mm-hmm.
where it's like stop giving us the same game, give us multiple games. Digital storefront, just let us choose. Glad to see Playism doing their own shows. They've got some really cool stuff. I'm glad eBay rejected GameStop. I'm not one of those people that wanted to see GameStop buy it. I think they would have destroyed it. I do not trust Ryan Cohen, so I'm glad to see eBay say no. Uh, Excited for the live action Zelda movie, of course. Can't wait to see a trailer. Yay to the Nintendo Store changing its name. The Pokemon themed airport is cool, but I'm not there, so I'm not unfortunately going to be able to take advantage of it. For once, with Nintendo Music, I did listen when the Star Fox soundtrack came out. I was playing Asphalt and I was going through my daily stuff that I don't really need to listen to, and I decided to put on that soundtrack and listen through all 10 songs just to hear these new remixes, and they sound good. So I was really happy to get that. I still haven't built my Deku Tree, and I've always hoped to get a second one so I could build both, and that's clearly not happening now. So maybe I could find a way to get the missing pieces if I ever get around to finally building that thing. Lego 2K Drive, I hate to see games delisted. I hate to see them get taken offline. It's the nature of the digital future. Thankfully, this one is physical, but the DLC, of course, is not. And I was hoping it stayed around because my son loves, cars and Lego. When he gets a little older, I hope to have played it with him. So I will, but I won't be able to experience the full thing, unfortunately. Mario Galaxy movie, I got my physical Blu-ray pre-ordered, so can't wait. Really excited about the Virtual Boy games. Jack Brothers is the only North American one I'm actually missing from my collection. It's stupid expensive. Great. Like we're talking, this is over $1,000 game. In addition to that, Space Invaders is, a $500 game only released in Japan. Virtual Bowling is over $1,000, very, very rare. This is not, I've seen people confused about this online. This is not Nestor's Funky Bowling. They did not remove Nestor from the game. This is a completely different developer, a completely different game, only released in Japan. It's just another bowling game, but Nestor's Funky Bowling actually didn't go to Japan. That one is American exclusive. So both countries got their own. And Vertical Force is the game I mentioned to you, Steve, that you would love because it's a shmup. It
Mm,
is a top-down shmup. They use the 3D where you have the plane closer to you and farther away from you. So that's your vertical, and it is a shmup, and it's not like Red Alarm where it's wireframe. It is you can see everything. So
nice.
that is a game that I think you will really enjoy and definitely worth playing. It is a fun game. I am excited for May 27th, Dragon Quest Day. I want to see Dragon Quest 12. I want to see 4, 5, and 6 trilogy getting remade. I'd love to see 8 and 9 getting ported. I would really love to see Dragon Quest X offline coming to America. Let us experience that game. I do expect to see a Dragon Quest 11S Switch 2 edition. And I would also like to see Dragon Quest Heroes 1 and 2. That was a launch title on the Switch, only in Japan. Like,
Mhm.
come on, bring it over here now. It came out on PlayStation here, but bring the Switch version over here. It's time. Come on. The Inside Gaming Showcase, could be interesting. I don't if I have time, I'll watch it. Summer Game Fest, I always pay attention to, and we're I think we had people there last year. We might have people there again this year for play days, so we'll see. But definitely looking forward to some of those showcases.
From PM
Gamescom,
specifically.
PM
Yeah.
specifically, yeah, PM Studios. Um, Gamescom, I'm glad Nintendo's going to be there, so we'll see what they show. And Pictonico came out of nowhere. We were at a call last night. You guys hadn't even seen it yet. It literally just dropped out of nowhere, and I got mine pre-registered. I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna try it out. It looks like Face Raiders meets WarioWare without, Wario. And whether or not I pay anything, I don't know. Probably not, but it's free to start, so I'll try it. Why not? It could be a lot of fun. So we'll see.
Nice. Yeah. Greg, what's your thoughts? There's lots of news here.
Yeah. Yep, that's quite a list. I actually didn't even realize that they had previously announced the Mineru Construct amiibo, but I kind of like to collect the Legend of Zelda ones now as I think just about all of them. I think they've released, thankfully, on the reprints on some of the other more like the rarer ones from like what are the Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask ones. But I'll probably end up getting this one closer to launch, I hope. And then for the choose your game thing, as Barry said, it's definitely a great option to see. And I believe was it the Wii U that actually did have like a thing, like a free game thing? It wasn't like a when you got the system, but I think they just let like all people that had the system just download a game for free. I thought it was like I got like Game and Wario, I think I got
Yeah.
for Wii U at some point. But yeah, it's
Hmm.
still great to see that they're bringing something like this back to help out consumers. And also, as Barry pointed out, if you really want to save that extra money, you probably should pick Mario Kart World. So, um, yeah, unless you're absolutely against Mario Kart World or you don't really like it if after playing it or whatever. But that would be the one to probably pick there. Yeah, in terms of the other, let's see, we're on to one of the shows. I didn't really check that out, but hopefully we'll be looking more into the recap from the Playism Game type show. See, we also got the eBay stuff. So then, yeah, didn't really surprise me that they actually responded. So I'm glad to see that they turned it down as well. So, sorry, GameStop, you can't destroy another company. The Zelda movie, as I said, I really excited to see, and I really can't wait for a trailer. And now I guess we'll start having Nintendo Directs for this movie now, where they'll be like, "Hey, you can check out these people in the movie, and like, here's
With
some
a
scenes from the
1 hour
movie." So
warning
I'm,
time.
yeah, right. That's like their new
Maybe
policy.
10
That's things
minutes.
like these days.
Yeah, maybe in 10 minutes.
Yeah, starting in 10 minutes, new Nintendo Direct for the live action Zelda movie. Here's the title. All right. Yeah, in terms of removing the word "my" from the store, I mean, it kind of makes sense. I mean, I understand that it was like the My Nintendo for a while with the reward program, but then that's kind of all fizzled out. So it kind of makes sense to just remove the extra word there. Um, Pokemon themed airport, I think it's a missed opportunity. You can't like fly on like Zapdos or something like that, or like Pidgeotto or something. I think that would have been a little bit cooler for an airport to be like, hey, I got to ride one of these Pokemon for as part of the airplane, or I got to be on like Charizard or whatever or Dragonite. But yeah, as Barry said, I don't live anywhere near the area, so it'll be pretty cool to see some photos of anyone that else is able to go see it. And then also with the Nintendo Music, like Barry, I did check out the Star Trek tunes and things were sounding really cool and really excited to hear what other ones they've remastered and changed around and made to be really cool. Kinda sad to see the Lego set for the Deku Tree going away, but, I mean, thankfully, I have mine assembled and fully built, but I wasn't really one to wanna buy it a second time, so I don't have to do it that way, but I guess I don't know what else to do with the other pieces that I will never, like, take apart and rebuild because 'cause they've made it kinda too complex for that. You have, games being delisted. That's always sad news to see stuff go offline. And but yeah, I guess check out the physical copy if you still want to be able to get a copy of the game. I haven't pre-ordered the movie like Barry did for the physical version, but I usually do like to get a physical copy. I do have one for the first movie, the original Mario movie, so I was definitely be getting a physical to go along with this one. I don't usually get movies digitally quite as often for whatever reason, even though I like my games to be more digital. It's somehow I'm more enticed to have the physical movies because I guess it's these days it's always a dancing of services. Like all it has always on all these services starting today, and then like who knows, a year from now it will be like delisted from some of these services, and then it's like, well, that kinda stinks there, and so it's I don't like playing those kinda games, I'd rather just have the darn disc in my hand. The Virtual Boy games, I haven't really even checked that out yet, I still have my Virtual Boy still sitting on the shelf ready to go, I need to check some of those out. Also excited for the Dragon Quest, upcoming announcements, I really hope to see 4, 5, and 6 get a nice remaster like 1, 2, and 3 did, those were done really well, so I was hopefully hoping that 4, 5, and 6 will be on the way in addition to 12, even though I still have to play 11. Let's see. Then for more of these upcoming showcases, I'll just have to see what I more checking out, like, whether it's the Insider Gaming Showcase and the Summer Game Fest, the Women in Games, and all these other ones. Will be a nice, fun podcast episode where we have like the E3 like summary of all these different showcases. So to see which ones I check out. And let's see. The Gamescom thing is actually kind of nice that they're returning because I guess that's the new E3 these days. I was gonna add in for Barry, so unfortunately it's kind of far to travel there, but might be time to try to look to see if there's way to swing it or something, I guess. But yeah, that mobile game is definitely a WarioWare Face Raider type game, and kind of surprised that they didn't want to stick an IP with this game for possibly better coverage. But maybe they're unsure how it's going to do. But it kind of almost seems like it's to be like a one-time thing and not something that you'll be like want to do. And it's really going to depend on how they price point some of these like expansion packs because that's sounds pretty absurd that you have to, like, buy all these extra games, and especially if you're not using them all the time or whatever, then I mean, if you really like the game, you'll be buying them and using them. But I think for the based on what they've shown, I don't think it's gonna be, like, a huge thing. It sounds like it's almost like the new Miitomo, but I don't know, maybe I'll be surprised.
Yep. Yeah, I think it's strange, and especially because Nintendo sometimes drops support for their mobile games, and then all of a sudden you've sunk a lot of money into those things. It could be interesting. That app is just interesting, no matter what. Quickly going through this stuff. Always cool to see a new amiibo. I was really tempted to buy the Mario Galaxy one when I was at Target earlier today. I was like, oh, just staring at it and like it looks so cool, but I'm like, I don't need it. I don't need it. You don't need it, Steve. And so I had to tell myself that over and over and over again. But it looks really cool. And then yeah, I love the choose your own game bundle for Switch 2. That's a really good idea. Playism stuff. I haven't checked out Double Connection, but cool to see at least one game for Switch that was announced. And then yeah, I'm with you guys. I'm glad that eBay rejected it, and it was kind of funny to see their response. And then live action Zelda, hey, a whole week earlier. I'm not going to complain. Usually things are pushed back, especially Zelda and other things from Nintendo. So to have it a whole week earlier is great. The My Nintendo stuff, yeah, I said that already. It's changed. That's all. And then I wish these places weren't so far away. Like this Pokemon Airport, the Gamescom in Germany, all these really cool things that I wish I we had the ability to just like hop over to. But they're like all on the other side of the world. It's so far to travel just to check it out. But I guess, if I ever do find myself in Japan, it is going to be there till 2029. So maybe sometime before 2029, I'll find myself at the airport in Noto, Japan. Um, Nintendo music stuff. I think the crazy thing is that they released the tracks for Star Fox early. Like that was a little surprising. It's cool, but it's just crazy that they released them early. The Deku Tree, I the thing that I'm concerned about now is, like, does this mean they're not releasing more Zelda stuff anytime soon? They're going to change direction, or is this just happened? I figured they would release more before they started retiring any, which is really interesting. I mean, the retiring thing happens normally with Lego sets, but it's an interesting timing thing. So I'm kind of glad that I held off, at least for now, because once I get started on Lego Zelda, it's not going to stop. And so I'm glad I didn't get started. Lego 2K Drive being delisted and taken offline. I wasn't a big fan of 2K Drive. I thought I was going to. The driving itself is a little wonky. It's loose. It's not very tight control like Mario Kart or something like that. And so I didn't enjoy it nearly as much as I would have hoped to. So I'm not that bummed. Bummed in general, but personally, it doesn't impact me that much because I played it a little bit and I've shelved it. Mario Galaxy, I'm with you guys. I'm gonna hold off on getting the Blu-ray when that comes out, and it'll come with a digital copy that I'll watch at that point. But I'll hold off and get the Blu-ray, and hopefully this time I will just get the Blu-ray and not walk home with the DVD and then realize that I bought the wrong one a couple weeks later, and then have to go back and get the Blu-ray as well. So, because that's what I did for the Super Mario Brothers movie, I have the DVD and the Ultra Blu-ray. Uh, and let's see, Virtual Boy stuff. That's exciting. The only unfortunate thing is that I've been playing. You guys know I've been playing more Switch on my Switch Lite recently, and that doesn't go in there. And we all know that I actually preferred playing it on the Switch and the cardboard thing rather than the actual machine. So I'll pop my Switch 2 in there at some point and play that. Dragon Quest news is always exciting. And then all the showcases, yeah, be exciting to see what they have. I'm excited to be there for Summer Game Fest this year. And Gamescom, like I said, be great to actually go. And we've talked about this. Picto Nico. Is that they've done this thing recently where Nintendo has decided not to just say it phonetically for all of us to hear. So when the trailer starts, it's a bunch of people and mostly kids shouting the name all at the same time. I have no idea how it's actually pronounced. It's just like, blah, 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 blah. I was like, I think it's Picto Nico, but I don't really know. So that's what I'm going to call it for now. It's probably going to be like Pocopia. We said Pocopia or whatever for a long time and then find out we're wrong. So Picto Nico, I guess, is what it'd be for now. But yeah, I'll try it out for free at the beginning, but I doubt I'm going to be purchasing anything.
They should just call it like Picto Chat and bring that back.
There you go. There you go. Let's see. I think Millennium Falcon's been saying some stuff in the chat as well. Hopes I have a good time at Fan Expo. I'm going to meet Welker and Cullen. I'm not sure who I'm going to be meeting. I'm actually going to be, I see you mentioned Dallas. I'm going to be the one in Denver. So I don't know if they're going to be there as well, but I'm going to see a lot of people. I typically don't stand in line to like meet people and get the signatures and the photos and all that stuff. I'll just like walk by the ones that are not like locked away in some private room and just say, hey, I saw that person. I saw that person. I saw that person. Maybe I'll take a strange little creepy photo of them as I'm walking by. But every once in a while, I'll like walk alongside them. Like that happened to me one time with another actor. But I love going to the panels and that sort of thing. And if they have a booth like some of the comic guys like and stuff, they're like signing stuff and they actually have like their comics and everything that you can get. Like I'll go and check those out and stuff, but I'll go check out the events and things too. So if they're there, I'm sure I will see them, but I don't plan on standing in line necessarily to go see anybody really.
Yeah, we walked through that area at the anime thing to see so there was some voice actors and voice actresses there. And I didn't even recognize like any of them, but I did see like some of like the logos. There was even like one of the ones that did one of the characters from Fire Emblem Heroes, and I was like, oh my gosh, I remember playing that game, but like I don't really play it anymore, and I don't think it's really worth paying whatever $50, $70 and waiting in line for it. But it was still kind of cool to say, like, hey, I actually recognize like so something that they were part of, and then there was a few. There was even one that did one of the voices from Cookie Run Kingdom, and I was like, "That's even kind of funny," because I know that's a kind of a niche game for you two guys that you guys haven't played on mobile that I have as well. But
Hmm.
it's kind of fun to try to see ones that at least are you're like a lot bigger fans of. I'm sure. Like if I could beat like Xander Mobus or something, I think that'd be pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's move on to our first of our main discussions for this episode, and something happened. Speaking of a 10-minute warning that we got on May 6th, so just a few days ago, as of this recording, Nintendo decided to drop a direct out of nowhere. And it was a Star Fox direct right after the day that we recorded our last episode. And we talked about different games we'd like to have come over to to the Switch and Switch 2. And we all had different thoughts around Star Fox. And little did we know that Nintendo was going to be dropping it really, really soon on a remake of a remake. Because we're getting not a brand new Star Fox game, but we're getting a Star Fox game. That's what it's called, Star Fox, that's based on the 64 game, which is based on the original. But the original, or the Star Fox 64, is basically being completely remade with the same idea, main idea in the game. And it's going to be for Switch 2 specifically, so exclusively on the Switch 2. And you're going to be, going and saving the Lilat system and everything that you normally do in Star Fox 64. If you played that game, you know the story. It's going to be the same. They have added some extra cutscenes and some other things that have enhanced it, but the game is basically going to still be the same storyline. And then there's some new and returning modes as well. So you got the campaign mode that we all know. There's also a challenge mode where you can replay stages that you've cleared already to take on a new objectives. And then you're also going to be able to try those in normal and expert settings in terms of difficulty. There's also the battle mode return, so you can gather up with a crew and complete 4v4 dogfights with up to 8 players between Team Star Fox and Team Star Wolf. So you can end up be divided in those two teams, 4v4, and be able to take them on. And if someone doesn't have the game, you're going to be able to utilize Game Share. On Star Fox for Nintendo Switch 2. You're also going to be able to get mouse controls and game chat character avatars, which are going to be able to utilize your camera on your Switch 2 to be able to turn you into Fox or Peppy or whatever. And as you move your head and as you open your mouth, the character is also going to do that and within the game chat window. And this is all going to drop on the Nintendo Switch 2 on June 25th. So, Barry, what do you think about this Star Fox Direct and the game itself?
You should have seen the amount of double takes and confirming that I wasn't like a fake Twitter account tweeting it out when it happened, because I'm like, no way. And I'm like, is this legit? Like, what? Go to YouTube on my TV, and I'm like, there it is. Like, oh my God, this is a legit thing. Did not expect that. So when we discussed what we were, in the last podcast, we talked about, would Star Fox 64 3D, would that come over to the Switch? Would they give us Star Fox Zero, or or any of that? And we were kind of mixed. I was in the field of maybe they'll give us Star Fox Zero with a brand new game on on the Switch too. And while I would still love to see that, the more I thought about the series, the more I realized just how much of a mess Star Fox has been. And Nintendo has only made, 3 games in house, which was Star Fox 64, Zero, and Guard. The original and 2 were Argonaut, and Adventures was Rare, and Assault was Bandai Namco, and Command was Q Space. And Nintendo didn't really control the narrative. And even like Adventures was really Dinosaur Planet that they just inserted Star Fox into. And Starlink was Ubisoft. So again, still not Nintendo. So I think they're trying to reboot the entire series and have control over it. And if they're going to reboot it, you got to reboot it at the start. And as we know, the original Star Fox is a start, 64 is a retelling of that, 0 is a retelling of that, but they're not the same games. So the only one Nintendo did was Star Fox 64. So it makes sense to do that. And the fact that they're adding in the extra cutscenes is great world building. And I do think that there is another Star Fox game on the horizon. This can't be it, because as great as this is, they have this engine. They're just remaking a game. That's a lot easier to remake a game that already exists than to create a brand new game. And I have a feeling that they're making another game, a follow-up game, and then this is just the entry point. And whenever I played Star Fox back in the day, and I know I'm not alone, the immediate comparison was Star Wars, right? I mean, yeah, there was the Independence Day level as well, but
Sure.
you know, the especially the end of
Mhm.
Star Fox 64 was like the end of Return of the Jedi and escaping the Death Star too.
Sure. And
And it
Miyamoto
was,
said that he wanted to make a Star Wars-like game, and that's what led him
yeah.
to Star Fox. So yeah,
And it's one of those things where this is kind of the way our brains perceived Star Fox 64 back in the day, because we
Mhm.
didn't have graphics like this. We had, you know, what we had. So the more I think about this, the more I realize this is a very smart move, provided they actually follow it up. If there is no follow up to this and this is it, I think this is a dumb move. I don't think this is, I think they need to build upon this. Otherwise, where is it going?
Yeah.
And yeah, I'll let Greg go next.
Yeah, I've seen like this is actually the fourth time that they've now told the story. So we have like Star Fox 64, Star Fox 64 3D, Star Fox Zero, and yep, here we are again. So like, well, I mean, 3D and like
Yeah.
64 3D and 64 are mostly basically the same game, but they just
Sure.
kind of retold the same story essentially four times with like one kind of port, like 3D port. But um definitely, like, as Barry said, it came out of complete, like, left field. He didn't even know it was coming. I believe I even said I thought if Star Fox was coming over, it would be another remake of the regular, series. I didn't necessarily see them porting over Zero and trying to make that full-on corrections with all the like, what I've heard, it was awful, motion controls. I know Steve suffered through those for us and possibly even Barry a little bit, um but at least for this one, this like, all the graphics look super incredible, like, the music was really cool, and I might actually wanna be checking this one out. I mean, I haven't really gotten Star Fox since Star Fox 64, unfortunately, but, I did not play Command or Adventures and that other one that,
Assault.
Barry had mentioned, Assault. So, pretty much my last Star Fox game was Star Fox 64, so, I didn't get the 3D version on 3DS, and so I was like, "Well, I already have it on 64," and then 64 was already on, like, Virtual Console on Wii and Wii U, so it was not really anything that I really had to dive back in, but, um, this game just looks really incredibly gorgeous, and I'm kinda glad they're doing that digital promotion thing to make it a little bit cheaper than buying it on the cartridge, but yeah, I don't know if, Steve wants to throw in anything in here before we dive into more stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. I think. I mean, I think I've actually said this before. I think Star Fox 64 might be the game that I have played through the most of any video game. I have beaten that game so many times. And here's the and all that you guys said. The game looks gorgeous. I know we could talk about this in a second, but I know people have been complaining about what they look like in there. I think they look fantastic. I think the textures look great. I think the game itself is fantastic. I've played through it so many times. Here, that therein lies the problem in my head, is that if all it's going to do is be a game, I mean, I know they've added some extra features and some extra things. The 4v4 combat mode or dogfighting mode and stuff like that is fun. You'd be able to play online. That'd be fun. That could be different ways that we could, expand it and have the replay value. But I can play through Star Fox 64 in, usually, like, if I'm doing really well and I'm taking like the easy run, like under an hour, right? So like $50 for a game that's going to take me that quick, that I've already played through so many times, like that's where I am, like, kind of torn because of me. Not because should this game exist or whatever, but just me and my own situation. A game that I played through 20, 30 something times in my life. Do I want to play through it yet again? Yes, because it looks beautiful. But will I go back to it again and again and again and again for $50? I don't know. So I'm gonna get it. There's no question about it. It's just more of like, how much will I be potentially regretting this purchase if that's all there is? Like, oh, look, I played through this campaign that I played through 25, 30, 40 times before this. Cool. It looked great, but the same experience that I've had before with some extra amazing cutscenes. So I'm kind of torn right now, guys. I think that's where I am. It looks gorgeous, and the game, I know it's going to be fun, but I just don't know, am I going to go through this one 25, 30 times just like I have the other one? Because maybe that's all
Well,
that they're going to have.
I mean, the difference is when Star Fox 64 originally came out, we were all in high school. We didn't have the amount of games existing that there are today. So when you got a game, you got a game and you had to make the most of it. And Star Fox 64, like you said, you can run through it in under an hour, but that's just one playthrough. There's multiple different paths, but they also had the whole medal system. And that was one of the things, like, I did. I played through this game so many times. I got a medal on every planet. And that was not easy because you had to do a certain amount of score, and you had to, if you were on like one of the later planets and you messed up, you had to replay to get to that point. You couldn't just restart the level. Um, but we did it, and I can't tell you how many hours multiplayer in this game. It's ridiculous. I I think they're going to do a lot of that. And obviously, they have the challenges, which will be fun. And I don't like replaying games at all. I'm done, one and done. But when it's been this long, I don't mind redoing it. Am I going to get all the medals in this game? Probably not. We'll
Funny.
probably just, play
Yeah.
through.
When the 64 app came on Switch, I went and played Star Fox 64 again and played it all the way through. And so it hasn't been that long ago since I played all the way through it.
But you didn't do every single planet. You did like one playthrough.
Oh yeah, I did play through. Yeah, I'm because that's the way I play Star Fox. Star Fox was never a collect everything game for me.
Ah,
Yeah. Like,
yeah.
it's
I,
just,
I
it's
sat down
more
and
I
got
want to
everything.
accomplish this and go on. Like Mario or something like that is more like, okay, I'm going to see if how close I can get to 100%ing this. But Star Fox has never been that kind of game for me.
Well, see, it was one huge incentive to do that with the original Star Fox or Star Fox 64. And because I mentioned we did multiplayer so much. That was my high school. We would go over each other's house. There was no real internet. And we put the cartridge in. We would have sleepovers and we would play so much Star Fox 64. In addition to, Mario Kart and GoldenEye and all that stuff. But there was a reward for doing medals in Star Fox 64. There was a reward for doing certain paths, in addition to a new title screen. The multiplayer mode, if you just boot it up and go into it, was a dogfight of, 4-man all for your own in the R Wing, but you could unlock the ability to switch to Landmaster. And if you got all the medals, you had the ability to unlock running around on foot. And it allowed you to switch. If you died, you can then switch and come back as a landmaster, or come down on foot. And we would make new games by doing it, by saying, like, two people on foot and the other people are on our wings and trying to snipe them down, and
Barry, you
we
might
made
be
our
the
own.
first person ever that I've talked to that enjoys playing with a landmaster.
Well, I didn't say the Landmaster was the greatest. I'm just saying it was an option. And you
Yeah.
know what? When everybody's in the sky and suddenly you respawn as a Landmaster and don't tell people because you're focusing on your corner, and suddenly you're sniping people from down below because they're looking for you in the sky, and you get a sneak attack on your friend, and he gives you that look, and you're just like, haha, I got you. It's fun. It creates those moments that you don't have online as much as opposed to like in person. But that's I think my only thing I'm upset about with this. I love that there's 3 new multiplayer maps and things, but I I want them to put the classic multiplayer in. Like, just put it as it was. Like, give that as a fourth option. It exists. That's what's there. That's the nostalgia. Give us
Mhm.
nostalgia and then let us branch to the new. Don't
Yeah.
force us into the new.
That's true. Yeah, it's forcing you on teams. Like we've had that before in a previous Mario Kart multiplayer, and it was dumb. Don't do it again.
Mario Kart in teams works.
Oh, it does. But when you get the option to choose it,
Yes.
when you like Balloon Battle, when they forced you on teams, what was that, 7 or 8 or whatever in the beginning before they changed it up? That was
Yeah.
annoying.
Yeah,
Oh, anyway.
at least for Mario Kart, it shouldn't be teams, I don't think. At least only of that Piranha game. But back to Star Fox. I don't know what kind of mode that Barry was able to load in to switch between. I thought it was all I have ever seen is you just get to pick one, and then once the match is over, then you can select a different mode. Like I didn't like to use all three in a single multiplayer setting at the exact same time. Like you don't like
Yeah.
lose your plane and then all of a sudden you're in the landmaster and then you're on foot. Like that's not my experience. It was like you were in the plane, get shot down, okay, you're out, then you have to wait until the other players are defeated.
You had
So
to
I don't
unlock that ability. So if you played Star Fox and you had, like, say, 5 lives, you would get a little menu would pop up, and it would be like A with the landmaster there, or the R wing. B, there'd be the landmaster, and like Z or whatever. It had like the on foot, and you would click it, and when you died, you got the option to pick again. But those were unlocked, and in the days before the internet, if you didn't know about it, you really you thought it was just our wings. But yeah, the battle mode in Star Fox 64, you can unlock the ability to swap the Landmaster or to on foot with like a bazooka, and you're running around with like a bazooka and stuff.
yeah, that was very horribly balanced. I don't know if I'd want that back because if you just threw out one of those smart bombs at the guy with the bazooka, they were like screwed. They could not outrun that thing at all.
But
So
you had to
like
find them. It was really hard to find them on the map. That was the thing. They were like hidden.
it's
Sure.
it's not
It's
that
like
hard.
playing
If
Call of
it
Duty, like, and you're like on the ground and everybody else has got like you know, a, a, a helicopter or whatever. That's why I
Yeah.
stopped playing Call of Duty.
It's like Odd Job. If you picked Odd Job in GoldenEye, right? Like, he was hard to see. He was low. And that was the whole thing. And it became a new. See, when you only have so many games, you had to, and it eventually gets boring, so you changed up the rules. That's why, like, board games have house rules. So many board game. Monopoly is Monopoly, but how many people have their own different house rules to spice it up, to change it up, to make it interesting? That's what we did with that multiplayer, but we had to unlock those options. So it was hey, during the week after school, let's try to get these medals. Let's unlock it. So the weekend, then it's like, all right, let's go. We got.
Yeah, because I only got to the point we get to unlock whichever one you want to use, and then I didn't get to respawn in the middle of a multiplayer match as a different one.
Hmm.
So I don't know how that was unlocked or whatever, but I thought I had everything back in the day, but
Now I've got to look it up while you're doing this. Now I'm kind of curious to see what. Let's look at the conditions
as yeah.
live.
Yeah, because I mean, I remember the Landmaster wasn't even the best either, because like you just get hit them with the smart bomb, and then they were like screwed. Like it was very horribly balanced, where it's like
Hmm.
if you didn't use the R wing, you were essentially dead.
Yeah.
And I don't know what kind of friends you're playing with, but I'm playing with really competitive people that look at each other's screens. So you see the little tiny figure, like, hey, oh, he's over there by the arches. Let's go. pick up they can't even grab the smart bomb because it only appears in the air. And then like, oh, I'll go pick it up, and then like, hey,
Yep.
that kind of looks like the area. Smart bomb, boom, dead. They're gone. Like
So true.
you would
So
never even you would never want to be on foot because you couldn't even get enough shots down to even take down an R-wing. It was even kind of a challenge to even take out the Landmaster as the little bazooka guy too. I mean, it was just
yeah.
not balanced in the slightest, and I don't like if you had some sort of massive like 4 TVs where you couldn't see each other's screens, then props to you. But I from the time that you like are very competitive and you just look at like, hey, just eyes kind of shift just slightly over, like, hey, they're in this room. Okay, boom, head over that way. Like, that's how GoldenEye worked. That's how any multiplayer 64 game worked. You
we
just
we all got like super into it that we focused on our screen. Like we didn't
Wow.
even look at the others. And that's what would happen was we would all be dogfighting. There would always be that one person that would switch to they would die and they would switch to on land and they would just hide like there was those pyramids in the level and they would just get to the top of the pyramid and wing bang and and we what the where'd that come from, and it's like they would then we'd look at the screen and go, you SOB, you switched over, you weren't supposed to. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm with
you
you,
had to
Greg.
get
We all
medals and
screen
medal.
sniped. Why not?
yep,
It's
that's
right there.
Man, you would have gotten punched by me if we played, and that
I
was
would have
that was a
admitted I wouldn't
no-no.
have admitted it to you.
Yeah, yeah.
Respect.
Greg, how you doing so good? I don't know, a skill, I guess.
Crotch. You get the
Oh,
cardboard and put it on the TV.
there you
That's
go.
My
There you
brother
go.
made that thing. It wouldn't stay on the TV the best, but that was like the best GoldenEye day ever when we had that cardboard thing. Because like then we also had the no radar turned off, so that you like legitimately didn't know where anybody was. Like
Yeah.
and playing like no radar with like the in the basement with the rocket launchers was my favorite GoldenEye experience.
So let's talk about the look of these characters because that's been a little bit of a controversy online, and so I think one the big thing, at least as I'm gathering from people talking online, and people online are just going to be people online, so there's always going to be something they're going to complain about. But essentially, the Nintendo has decided to go a little more realistic ish with the look of these characters rather than where they went for the Super Mario Galaxy movie. So Fox and that looked a little more of a cutesy kind of look, and this one there's more fur. He looks a little more like an actual fox, even to the point where they've cleared it up. The Star Fox crew has not lost their legs on purpose or on accident. Those are their actual legs. Those are boots that they're wearing, and they're not wearing metal legs. But their knees actually bend the proper way, and they're not human like as much in this one. They're still human like because they're walking around on all fours
Pedal.
or on two legs, but they're more animal like in this one, and they have more animal looks to them. And some people are kind of throwing a fit about that. Barry, do you like the look of this? I think it looks fantastic.
I think it was jarring for the first 5 to 10 seconds because it wasn't what I was expecting. I was initially expecting more Zero Starlink, because I thought they looked great in that universe. I was like, "Well,
Sure.
that's what they're gonna do." And so the first 5 to 10 seconds or so were a little jarring, and then I was just like, "All right, I see what you're doing. I'm good," and I just got used to it. And I think it's going to be one of those things that's going to grow on a lot of people if they don't like it, and there's going to be some people that are going to hate it. What I'm curious about is the next Smash Brothers. Are they going to look like this? Or are they going to look like what they've always looked like in Smash Brothers?
Yeah. I mean, they changed Link from game to game, and other characters that kind of change. I mean, Donkey Kong is probably going to look a little different next time too. Oh.
Yeah.
Greg, what do you think of the look?
At least for like Peppy and Slippy, like I was 100% on board like when they were first shown, but like I know Falco was kind of at least a little bit like of adjustment, and then I'm more on board with that. But then I do have to say, at least for the duration of the direct, I was on the camp of not really liking Fox's actual design. But then like the more like reactions and stuff I watched and like replayed the video, I'm like already got that like it's already kind of grown on me and thinks it's already looking pretty solid there to begin with. But yeah, on the very first time through, was not on Team Fox at least at all. But
Hmm.
now I think he looks perfectly fine after having seen the thing like 10 more times or whatever it was. But
Yeah. Yeah. I'm a big fan. I think this, I mean, we've said it multiple times over the last like little bit of talking about this game. It looks fantastic. And I think this is, I mean, this is one of the ways that Nintendo can show off what they got with the Switch 2. They're going to take a game that they already have, that they've been remaking for years, and just say, we're going to put a really, really, really pretty polish on this thing, and do the best we can. And it's not going to be a gigantic game that's going to be, gigabytes and gigabytes and gigabytes of files. I'm sure this game is pretty small, so they can maximize this like crazy. And from
Isn't
what
it
we've
on
seen,
the site?
definitely looks like it. So yeah, this 14 gigabytes is the estimated size. So it's a pretty sizable game, but I mean, it's nothing like some of the other games that are going to be in this. So like, to see Star Fox in 4K looking this great, Nintendo's kind of showing off at this point, of what they can actually do on this handheld system. So, any final thoughts before we move on?
I My final thought is this: so many people have been complaining, "Where's the direct? Where's the direct? Where's the direct?" And despite pointing out, even on this podcast, that we already know what Nintendo's doing up until May, the only thing we didn't know really was June. Nintendo just dropped June. Here you go. Here's your June game. They have a stacked library already, and I'm sure they've got a stacked second half. But just be patient, because 10 minutes, that's our lead time now. 10
Yep.
minutes. And from what I understand, they did that to spite Nate the Hate, which I block. I don't see anything by him. I do not like
Same.
leakers. I do not like leaks, period. And I think they did this to spite him. But if that's the world we live in, we pretty much have to be ready to go at any time, because 10 minutes is not a lot of lead time.
No. Yeah. I'm the same. Block Nate the Hate on everything. Or even comments about him.
I've only more watched like the people like covering him. I don't have him blocked. I don't watch any of his actual content. I don't really deal with any of that. I try not to be spoiled with leaks to begin with. So, and unfortunately, with the coverage of that, it also kind of like they're mentioning his other prediction that they're thinking that they're just going to drop out of nowhere too, and then, um, yeah, don't need to dive into that here and spoil anything for that and spread anything misinformation there or potential misinformation. But yeah, I think more of a lead time would be better. And then I've even seen some people thinking that this could be the end of like the standard direct, and they could just drop these game specific directs whenever they feel they need to go out, and then could be more focused on one particular game.
Mm-hmm.
And if that's the response to leaguers and that's what we get going forward, then a lot of people, I mean, myself included, are going to be upset, because we like the big directs and we like the surprise. And that means one person is literally hissing on all of our entertainment. And that really grinds my gears.
Yeah. Yeah. Before we move on, going through the chat, Jakester's joining us and saying the thing he loved about the announcement was the comment section. And then he's saying they were joking more than complaining. Either way, but he'll take a 64 remake. It's his favorite. And sad thing that he can't watch channels that are like friends with Nate to Hate, just because, yeah, like, I think you owe an apology, and I just cringe so hard. Yeah, I think as well, like, don't, like, stop spoiling things. Like, it's, and it's fine, if you get a leak and whatever, I get that, if you want attention and everything. But the thing is, like, put it behind something. Don't just put it out there where people will run
Well,
across it.
even
Like,
if they put it behind something, there's always going to be somebody that's going to
yeah,
put it out there,
totally.
because they have to have their
Yeah,
big lame claim to fame on the internet.
totally. Yeah,
Uh,
and I've even stopped like watching, or I think I've muted some things even from Kit and Krista, because they're just like grabbing it and throwing it on there and it's a thumbnail or whatever. I'm just like, stop. Like, not everybody wants to see that. Not everybody wants to be spoiled by that. I want to be, like, finding out things like I should be finding out things. So
I think the people who love leaks like that, they're like, oh, absolutely leaks. They should do a YouTube show, like seriously, where what they do is they find out what kids are getting for Christmas, and they go in there and they spoil it without the parents knowing they're going to do that. And we get to see the parents beat the crap out of them because I think that would be entertaining. Because if
could be
someone
fun.
comes in and spoils the surprise from my son, I will be taking them down. Like, that's the fun of a surprise.
Yeah.
The surprise party exists not for the party, but to surprise the person that everyone cares about. The
Yep.
party is the effect, it's the after. Let people be surprised.
Yep.
And I don't know why people like to ruin it for everybody. It's like The Sixth Sense. When The Sixth Sense came out, that was spoiled for me because everybody was just like, "Oh my God, I got to
Yeah.
tell everybody,"
Yeah.
and that ruins it.
Yeah.
And you see
Totally.
that now with movies,
Mhm.
literally, and even TV shows.
Yeah.
They're like I watch The Boys, and if you watch The Boys, there was a big thing that happened in the last episode, and less than 12 hours after it aired, there were thumbnails about it and articles about it, just spoiling it. I'm like,
Yeah.
it's less than 12 hours. People have work.
Yep.
Come on. What?
Yeah.
Why do you have to do that? Let people enjoy stuff. Give it a week. Give it 2 weeks. Fine.
Yeah. Yeah. It's gotten to the point where like we talked about this with the Mario Galaxy movie. Like I want to go see things as soon as they come out and I want to watch them as soon as they're on TV, but I have to be even crazier about it because I don't want to be spoiled. Like typically, if it wasn't for that, I could see it within the first couple days and I'll be fine. But because I don't want to be spoiled, I usually try to be at the theater like the day it comes out and I stay offline until I'm able to
Yeah.
go if I can't go to the first exact showing. And it's just crazy. That's a crazy life to have to lead just because of stinking spoilers.
Because everybody has this strange desire to get recognition and notoriety. And look at me, look at me, look at me. Like, oh, here's this thing. Or some people just don't care. Some people may love it. Maybe they say, I love ruining other people's
Yeah.
enjoyment. I get like some sick thrill out of it. In which case, maybe you should be in a psychiatric home and being evaluated because you shouldn't get enjoyment out of ruining things for
Yeah.
others. That's not healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah, but in terms of your surprise thing, there are people that just don't like to be surprised though, and that's probably these people that want to have all this out here now and not be surprised that like, hey, there's a new Star Fox game coming. So I don't like being surprised, so I'm gonna make sure everybody else doesn't get surprised by it either.
Yeah.
And you know what the worst part is? Then like a direct will happen, and here it is, and the first thing is, oh, I already knew that was coming. Show us something new.
Yep.
Seriously, that is something new. You,
Yep.
like, come on.
Yep. Yep.
You know what, I would love to see Nintendo and other people, other not just Nintendo, Sony, Microsoft, any company, if someone leaks something, they should make sure to find through IP address, ban their IP address from ever playing that game, brick the systems. I know some people say, "Oh, Nintendo anti-consumer, they're gonna brick." Let them brick them. Let them brick every system Nate the Hate gets. Brick them all. Like, stop it. If he says, I hate Nintendo, I'm not doing this anymore, then fine, good. Go away. Let the rest of us enjoy and you be miserable because you're making the people who don't want to be surprised miserable. Period.
Yep. Yeah. Greg, any final thoughts before we move on to the Nintendo investor briefing?
Yeah, I guess we saw that their inspiration for the that Pico Nico with the Star Fox AR thing.
That's true. That's a good point. They're leaning into camera AR,
Yeah,
just like
yeah,
the Kinect back in the day, I guess. Or I guess they've done some of their own stuff too. But yeah.
yes. I mean, it'll be kind of interesting to see that, but I mean, I don't even really use game chat to begin with, so I don't know how much I'll even be utilizing it. But
Yeah. It's definitely silly. We may have to do a podcast with our Fox characters.
Oh,
Um,
God.
Oh boy, but yeah, I think I'm interested in what you're saying, Barry. I have my mixed thoughts about this game and stuff like that. I'm excited for it, but at the same time, it's weird. Like, oh, yeah, we're doing another remake of this story. However, if they do go in the direction what you were saying, like this is more of a reboot, then I'm all for it. Like, it'd be great to
I
see. I
think
hope they
so.
do have more in the holster, and they're going to be bringing that out maybe as early as 2027. Like,
I
hey, next year we got another one.
I think they tried to do that with Zero, with the Wii U. Like that was their intention with
Yeah,
Zero. Let's reboot it, and they probably had a sequel planned, but Zero sold the worst of any Star Fox game, and of course, being on the Wii U didn't help. But the motion controls were the big thing,
yeah,
as well.
yeah.
It's going to the Switch too. It looks great. It's Star Fox 64, which people love, so you know the gameplay is going to be good. It's easy to make because it's just a remake.
Rinse and
The
repeat.
graph the engine, they've developed this engine probably for the sequel, but they're whatever they're doing the new game, and they just retroactively are using it for this to keep it all looking the same. And then they have a follow-up. And if they do a follow-up next year, like that'd be great. Because as of now, I don't know if you realize this, there are three now. This is the fourth Star Fox timeline continuity. Like it is the most like Zelda has multiple timelines, but they have a starting point where they branch, where it's like a multiverse thing. Star Fox doesn't have that. Star Fox and Star Fox 2 are their own continuity. Star Fox 64 Adventures, Assault and Command are their own continuity. Zero, Guard, and Starlink are their own continuity, and now this. None of the others connect. They're just a retelling. It's not multiverse. It's literally just that's a continuity. And it's so weird because no other Nintendo franchise has a continuity problem like this. And it's so
And would they
bizarre.
even consider it a continuity problem? Maybe they're just like, hey, we just want to make these games. Who
It's
cares about the
it's it's
story?
the fourth reboot, in terms of timelines.
Yeah,
That's not happened with any other franchise.
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, Zelda has gone back and further and further and further in the past,
Right.
but it still all connects.
Yeah. Maybe it all does. Maybe we're just in different universes, and it's like
Well, you know what?
multiverse kind of thing.
Maybe they'll do like the Council of Reeds from
There you go.
Final Fantastic Four. They'll do the Council of Peppies or something, and it'll be
There
like
we
all the
go.
different Peppies will all appear.
Definitely.
I mean, one of my favorite comments that I read on like something about this direct is how they're keep willing to reboot Star Fox, but then a game like F Zero, they can't just like we could just reboot F Zero. We could just here's the original F Zero, or update the graphics a little bit here. Here's online multiplayer, and then like that makes like total sense. Like, why can't they do that if they're just this is like the fourth time that they're redoing Star Fox? Like,
And maybe they will. I mean, honestly, if this goes well, I could maybe see them saying, "Hey, why don't we try this with Kid Icarus? Why don't we try this with Uprising? Why don't we try this with F Zero? Like some of the games that we talked about on the last episode. Maybe they'll do this kind of remake with them, do a really pretty polish on it, and we see that happening. Maybe it's just a kind of a trial thing with Star Fox.
I think F Zero is in a different spot, and the reason I say that is first off, it's a racing game. When they tried to put a story to it, the original F-Zero still has a story, but they tried to go more in depth with the story, especially with GX, which was not a Nintendo game, mind you. That was made by Amusement Visions, and Sega made GX and AX. They did a story mode there. They got a little more in depth with it. But then after that, Nintendo went with a full-on anime with F-Zero GP Legend, and they did a game based on the anime GP Legend for the GBA, and it was the second worst selling F-Zero game ever. In fact, most people forgot it even existed. But they had a sequel called F-Zero Climax that is the worst selling F-Zero game and was only released in Japan. It is on NSO, Japanese of course, but it is on the American NSO, so you can play it, but it was never released in America. And those are both on the GBA. F-Zero, as far as they're concerned, it petered out. The last two games were the worst selling games. They tried to do a whole story with backed by an anime. They had e-reader cards with the anime and all. Like they put money behind the franchise, and the whole AX arcade, and it didn't pan out for them. So I think they got scared. I think they're like this. Same with Star Fox. Star Fox Zero was the worst selling Star Fox game ever, and it took a decade for them to finally come back with Star Fox. So I think they get scared. They put a lot of the elements into Mario Kart 8, including some F-Zero tracks. Um, I think that F-Zero 99 has done well for them, and I'd love to see them do a remake or at least a new F-Zero with classic tracks, just like Mario Kart. That's it. New
Yeah.
F-Zero with brand new tracks, and then throw in classic tracks. Doesn't have to have any bells and whistles. It just be F-Zero. I think the fans will like it, and like you said, Steve, I think you know I mentioned, and one of the big things we talked about last time was what games are going to hit the switch to keep it alive and fill those gaps. And a lot of them ports. I do think we might be in this era where, in addition to those standard ports, we're going to see some remakes for the Switch 2 to fill in those gaps as well.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah. We'll close out the Star Fox conversation with Jakester in the chat saying that he's also excited about giving us the ability to play with the N64 Switch controller. Certainly a cherry on top for the N64 fans. I agree. They didn't have to do that, but so glad that it is going to work, and that's going to be fun to try it out as well. Let's move into our final main discussion as we get closer to the end of this episode. Nintendo had their investor briefing, and this is the big one. You know, it kind of wraps up their fiscal year, and talked about all the different game sales and hardware sales and all that stuff to make the investors happy, because this is what they're actually investing in. And there was two big things that came out of that investor briefing and the announcements that they made surrounding that I want to hit quickly on both of those, and then we'll focus on the rest of what they shared, some highlights from the rest of it. So the first thing is kind of a sad thing, but we know that it's bound to happen at some point. All of our heroes over there at Nintendo are getting older. They're bound to at some point start retiring, and we're getting Takashi Tezuka is going to be retiring from Nintendo as the executive officer on June 26th. Tezuka was the assistant director for games like Super Mario Brothers. Ever heard of that one? But then also he's been director for games like The Legend of Zelda, Super Mario World, The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past, Yoshi's Island. His most recent credit was the producer on Super Mario Brothers Wonder. So lots of several other people that are going to be retiring too, but that's kind of like the big one for sure. So like different changes and stuff like that, but their big retirement of an executive officer. So thanks so much, Tezuka, for all you've done. Barry, any thoughts on this retirement announcement?
Like you said, the people who created the games um, that we love are obviously getting older, and they deserve their retirement. And I think we're fortunate to have a company like Nintendo that is keeping the old guard around as long as possible, and they're training the youngers, and the people who grew up, experiencing those games and wanting to do games like that and training them. And I think that we're fortunate, as opposed to just retiring and leaving nothing, leaving a void, and someone just randomly trying to fill it. And that definitely has, could have positive effects, but a lot of times has negative effects. And we'll see how much the training goes, but the tutelage is there. And we all love Miyamoto, and he's done some great things, and he's also done some weird, strange things, like not wanting more story in Mario and stuff like that. But I know when he eventually retires, the team and the teams that are doing the games now, Miyamoto isn't doing nearly as much. they're trained under him. They're trained to do what needs to be done. And I wish him the best in his retirement. He's earned it, and he'll forever be missed. And thank you for the memories.
Yeah. Yeah. Greg, any thoughts?
I was pretty much just echoing a lot of what Barry was saying, but I did want to have a callback. You said like anybody heard of Super Mario Brothers? I would be like, no, I'd never heard of that game at all. Where can I find this epic gem of his that I've been missing all this time? But fully sarcastic for those audio listeners. But yeah, I definitely wish Tezuka the best in his retirement, and hopefully gets a chance to enjoy it. And um, hopefully it's not like Reggie, where he just goes right back to work, or like some other. And I know Sakurai wants to be fully done, but he just keeps getting called, like phone calls back in. So um, I get it, and hopefully he can finally have some time off and spend time with family and all that kind of fun stuff. So yeah, thanks for all the memories.
Yeah. Millennium Falcon says that he has a feeling that the old guard is passing their knowledge to creativity to an AI agent.
No,
Probably
no,
not, but that's funny.
not
Miyamoto
Nintendo.
They're
AI.
just downloading. Yeah, we're gonna have a Miyamoto AI at some point. But yeah, we know that they've been doing a really good job, so we're not concerned. It's just it's the start of the end of an era, which is kind of weird.
But I also think it's part of the Japanese culture because usually, like, you get that one job, and then usually you're pretty much at that company for basically life. So, would be kind of nice if we had our standard wage growth here, so then we wouldn't have to change jobs all the time. But um, I do recognize that that's one of the good things about Japan, where you get to have pretty good job security and be well liked, and then you can easily pass down any of the practices and everything that's can keep the company going strong.
Yeah. Yep. Pretty grateful that we've had some very, very strong names giving us some video games over the years. So thank you so much to Mr. Tezuka. And yeah, hope you enjoy your retirement. And before June, pass on all that you know to those rest of those people there because we need to benefit from that. Nintendo also went on, and the one of the before they got into all the the highlights of their sales and how they've been doing and all that stuff, they also announced that there's going to be a little bit of a price increase for the Nintendo Switch 2. So starting on September 1st, 2026, there's going to be a price increase, and the Switch 2 price will go from costing $449.99, the MSRP in the United States, to $499, so a $50 increase. The new cost in Europe will be 499 euros. Canada will be 679.99 Canadian dollars, and Japan will be going up to 59,980 yen. So basically a $50 increase. We've seen this happen with other systems. Nintendo's told us that they were going to be holding off for now, and now we see it. It's the cost of everything kind of going up in our world and stuff like that. So I mean, we kind of, I think most of us imagine this is going to happen at some point, but in a place where we like for costs to go down for various reasons. People have already said that the Switch 2 is expensive. Now it's $50 more. Barry, what do you think?
I'm not a fan of this. I know usually systems get cheaper as time goes on, and I know Nintendo is very notorious for not giving discounts. I mean, we've had the joke about, the Black Friday deal being the same Mario Kart bundle with the Switch for how many years. Nintendo just doesn't lower prices often because their stuff holds value. And we see it with the games. They do go on sale, but they go on sale infrequently. And they did tell us that it would most likely going up. We've seen other platform holders raise their price. Everything everywhere has been going up. The economy is not good. And Nintendo held out as long as they could. And we knew this was happening, and some people will say, well, it wasn't a good deal at $450. It's not a good deal at 500. And I beg to differ. I've had a lot of fun with my Switch too. I think it's well worth the money, and I do not regret it one bit. And you know, it sucks because the odds of it coming down once it goes up are slim to none
Mhm.
until maybe a Switch 3, but we're talking another 5, 6, potentially 7 years away. So if you want to Switch 2 and you haven't got it yet, this the bundle where you could pick your game, that's a pretty good deal.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, I mean, I don't even know if the Switch 2 will go down after the Switch 3 comes out, since the Switch 1 is prices only stayed the same and actually went up.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Greg, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, pretty much just echoing what you guys were saying. I was kind of glad to get it when I did, and definitely right now I'm much more fortunate that I got Belle her system too, because she's been head over heels into Tamagotchi life and Picopia, and like this wouldn't have been possible if I was like, oh, I'll wait for like another year or two, let the library kind of build up, and then go from there. But then now it's like, well, now I just saved a bunch just by was able to get that bundle sooner than later with Mario Kart World, so.
Mhm.
Thankfully, don't have to quite worry about that yet, but, um, I wonder if we'll get our Switch 2 ambassador program and all that other fun stuff that we'll get to, so.
Not happening.
If only.
If the 3DS was the exception, not the rule.
Well, they also went over, like I said, a lot more numbers. You can check out all this information on Nintendo's corporate site. That's nintendo.co.jp. But you can pull up all the different highlights of all the financial stuff. I just wanted to share some of the big stuff. But be sure to go check out more if you really enjoy numbers. You can find out all the numbers that you want. But they talked about first year sales for the Switch 2 achieved 19.86 million units shipped during its highly successful launch year. And then the current forecast for the fiscal year ending in March 2027, Nintendo expects to sell 16.5 million Switch 2 consoles, so just a little bit less than its first year. And the original legacy Switch has reached 155.92 million lifetime units sold. And then they talked about the rising expenses, component constraints and tariffs and memory chip crunches and all those different things will add roughly 100 billion yen to the costs this year. And they talked about, in spite of the price hike and operating profit as to being of the forecast, operating profit is forecast to rise 2.7% to 370 billion yen. But gross profit margins previously dropped significantly due to the hardware launch costs and the lower Switch 2 margins. So that's affected their profitability. But they're still on the forecast to rise, like I said, but 2.7%. And then the new games, Nintendo plans to push software to support hardware momentum, including Yoshi and the Mysterious Book that's coming out really soon, Star Fox, and titles like Elden Ring Tarnished Edition expected later this year. They talked about evergreen titles like Mario Kart World that's continued to dominate, shipping 14.7 million units. And their entertainment ventures, like their movies and stuff like that, have seen a slight decrease. But Nintendo also anticipates an upcoming boost from new cinematic results like Super Mario Galaxy movie, and I'm sure they're thinking about the new Star Fox, or not Star Fox movie, that's been rumored, but the Zelda movie that's going to be coming out next year as well. So, Barry, what do you think about just the rest of the overall numbers that they shared?
I think overall it's strong. I mean, there's definitely some good software coming up, and the software that has been released has done well. It sucks Metroid Prime 4 didn't do as well as one would hope. That hopefully won't hurt the franchise, but I guess we'll see. And it is interesting to note that it is official that the Switch is now the second highest selling game console of all time. It has surpassed the DS finally, and on its way to the PS2. And I believe it's even higher than the number that the PS2 was originally before they magically found another 5 million sold. But yeah, I think it's safe to say the Switch will take number one. And it's great to see the Switch 2 have a good year. I know investors are like the stock is dropping because investors are idiots. I'll be honest, they're speculative idiots, and they see 19, almost 20 million in the first year, and then 16 in the second year, and going, oh my God, it's going down. That usually happens because that first year you get all the diehards in there, and especially with the economy, it's got to be adjusted. But people freak. The investors don't know anything about the industry. They
Yeah.
don't. They're speculative, and they're like, oh, this is a lower number, therefore we should sell, and that's it. They don't know anything, which is dumb. That's the worst part of a publicly trading company, because then you get the idiots online that go, oh look, the stock price is going down, therefore Nintendo's in trouble. No, it's not in trouble because some random idiot who thinks he's smart with stocks got spooked because a number is slightly lower. No, that has nothing to do with that. But
Yeah.
that's the investors for you.
Greg, what do you think about this?
I mean, just going off of the investor stuff, I mean, that's kind of usually typical. I mean, a lot of people are just in it just to make money, and if the price goes up, then they would sell it anyways. It's not like they're just holding on to it just because they're like, yeah, I got the Nintendo stock because they're a wonderful company and all that. They're like, hey, how can I get my next set of bucks here and trade it in before it goes down any lower and everything. So it's all that kind of jargon with all that kinda stuff, so but, I don't think we're seeing, like, a Wii U type situation at all, so it's, like, we're still great to see the Switch 2 doing really well, so, and it's also really great to see that the Switch has finally passed the DS, so I was gonna say, has anyone contacted Sony to see if they found any more, Switch 2 or, PlayStation
PS2.
2, PS2 sales that they magically, found again, but
I'm sure they're looking. Yeah. And
yeah.
didn't Switch 2 like it's the fastest selling Nintendo system that they've ever had as well. And so like, yeah, they're far from
Well, yeah,
in danger.
yeah, I mean, they also had plenty of stock, though, that was the main thing, though.
That's true. But I mean, they had plenty of Wii U stock and that didn't go very well. So
Well, the marketing team wasn't very good for that console, so
and it
I
also
I
lacked
I
some
I really
things.
enjoyed yeah, I still think the Wii U is still one of my favorite consoles, but I could
Hmm,
still admit that it still had some of its flaws, and that was definitely one of them. Was not them, pushing that out better, but
very true. Yeah. Well, let us know what you guys think about all the stuff we've been talking about on this episode. Let us know on the YouTube comments down below. But also, if you have followed on social media or joined our Discord, you can let us know on your thoughts on all of that as well. Before we jump into upcoming games, just another reminder to send any questions you have or thoughts about our Patreon on a podcast at NintendoFuse.com. You can follow us on social media at NintendoFuse. And of course, join that Discord community. All those links are going to be in the show notes or the YouTube description down below. Let's go over what games are going to be coming out over the next couple weeks. Our next episode is going to be on June 2nd. So over the next couple weeks, we've got a few games that are going to be dropping, and one starting today. So if you're watching the video version, I'm going to be scrolling on the screen the list from Metacritic for Switch 1 and 2. But just highlighting some of the games that stood out to me. One is that we get a new demo for The Adventures of Elliot, and that dropped today. So that's something that's really cool. I played the original one that was kind of a check out this game, give us your feedback kind of thing, and it was fun. So Adventures of Elliot new demo is available today. On May 21st, we're getting Yoshi and the Mysterious Book. Also, Q Collection, which Barry talked about earlier. He's checking that out. King of Tokyo, which is the board game coming to Nintendo Switch. And then Table Flip Simulator, which I think is also being published by PM Studios. So another connection to Barry there. On May 22nd, we're getting Bubsy 4D and also Tales of Arise Beyond the Dawn Edition. May 28th is Bluey's Quest for the Gold Pin, and you're probably wondering, why did you put a Bluey game on there? This is the first one, shockingly enough, that the actual Bluey creators have been heavily involved in. So it may actually be pretty good. And then May 29th, Mina the Hollower, which we've talked about earlier in the games we've been playing. And then June 3rd, we're getting Final Fantasy VII Rebirth on the eShop. So yeah, what games are you gonna be playing over the next couple weeks, Barry? Any of these or maybe some others?
Yeah, so still be working on Mina the Hollower, which I'm doing now for review, and doing doing Yoshi, of course. And I realized that what in the beginning I forgot to actually mention a game that I am playing, so I will be working more on that too, which was a Kickstarter that I did, God, way back when, and that came out not too long ago. It's a game called Elementalist, which is a Zelda style game.
Hmm.
So I did start that, which of course then Mina came. I'm like, oh, two Zelda games in a row. But I'll probably go back and work more on that. Those are the big ones for me up until the next podcast. Of the ones that I haven't played already, I will say Table Flip Simulator is fantastic. Spencer, the guy who made it, is just a wonderful man, and give the game some love. And Bluey's Quest for the Pen, the Gold Pen, is actually another PM title. It is
Oh,
one that we're doing. So we're really cool, honored and cool that we get to work with the creator of Bluey to do that. So physical and digital versions for that are out, and then I've played it already. Tales of Arise Beyond the Dawn edition. I played it on PlayStation because that's when it came out, and it's the newest Tales of game, and it is fantastic. It is just a fantastic game. I loved it from beginning to end. Uh, yeah, I've enjoyed the DLC, which is not the strongest point, but it's still nice that they included it with the Switch version. But if you're looking for a great, JRPG, Tales of Arise, if you haven't played it already, yeah, absolutely a winner.
cool. Greg, how about you?
Definitely Yoshi and the Mysterious Book, so I already had it pre-ordered, so I already see the little icon on my console and just waiting to be able to boot it up in just 2 short days here. So hoping that I can wrap up anything that I was hoping to wrap up with Pokemon Pokopia, but we'll just have to see how that goes there. It might be some switching back and forth between the two. Mina the Howler does sound really fantastic. I'll probably be taking a check out at that, and even the table simulator I was gonna make a joke about, I didn't realize I already did that one, but I don't have to go that way, but
It's a
I don't
comedic
know.
game. It is absolutely a comedic game.
I'm sure.
Oh,
If it's not,
yeah, I would yeah.
they miss it.
And since it has Barry's input, it'll be a proper simulator thing,
No,
so it's not like the lawn
no,
like
no,
the
no, no,
lawnmower
no. I
game.
did not have any input on it. I know Spencer. I talked with him. I hung out with him back last year in Vegas. I saw the game. I played the game, and it's fantastic. But I did not have any input. This is his creation,
Yeah.
not mine at all.
It's
I'm
very
just
clear.
work
Barry
for the
just does
company.
ESRB things for PM Studios. He doesn't make games.
I don't make the games. I thankfully work with the company that is the honor of publishing the game. So definitely check it out.
It does yeah, it
Jakester,
does yeah.
Jakester in the chat says he's going to be continuing to work on Starlink and also hopefully finish Pacopia, and then Smash JC. So thanks, Smash JC, for joining us as well. Said looking forward to Yoshi and Mina as well. So yeah, I'm hoping to get some time with Mina. I'm gonna be doing a game chat with Barry. I'm going to be playing it on Steam because we couldn't get two Switch codes, but I'll be playing it on Steam. Barry playing it on Switch. We'll have looking forward to checking that out. I'm also I kind of mentioned this at the top as well, but I've been I switched over my Switch One to my Switch Lite, so I've been playing a lot more Switch Lite. I love how small this thing is, and so I've been playing it more on the go and as I'm sitting around the house and things like that too. So I'm going to be continue to play Constance. Looking forward to playing a little more of Yoku's Island Express, but then getting on some other games, R-Type, Dimensions 3 as well, and I know there's a few others that I'll be playing as well. As far as the new stuff, Adventures of Elliot demo, looking forward to checking that out. I really enjoyed the last one that they put out, and I know they've worked on it a ton since then. And
This is also the prologue demo, so everything from
that's
this
true.
carries over. This is the actual start of the game. So if you're interested in the game and you play the demo and you like it, you get the full game. You've already started.
Yeah, that's true. So that's exciting. Love those kind of demos for sure. And I think that might be it. I mean, I'm sure Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is going to be great, but there's so many Final Fantasy VII games. I don't want to get back into one of them. So
I do want to
glad they can
also mention
keep milking that franchise though.
one game that we didn't talk about that comes out, I think, in 2 days. Atomic Owl.
Oh,
Shout out to Monster Theater for launching. It was another Kickstarter, and we'll be doing a game chat on that soon. So we'll all be playing a little bit of that. But yeah, just give some love to the small indie devs and shout out. Wonderful team, head up by a very wonderful guy, and definitely give him some love.
yeah, yeah. And just another reminder: Smash JC is actually Jim from Pure Nintendo. So again, thanks for being here, and love that you could join us as well. So that brings us to the end of this episode. June 2nd is when we're going to be back for the next episode. So we'll be able to talk about several of the different events that are going to be happening. Not quite Summer Game Fest. That'll be in the next episode after that. But yeah, Barry, any final thoughts before we wrap this thing up?
Yeah, just get ready. I mean, we're approaching the old E3 season. Now it's the Summer Game Fest season. The rumored Nintendo Direct finally happening in June. I mean, statistically, it seems sound to have one in June, unless the leakers have destroyed that too. So let's hope not. And we know everything from or at least we presumably know everything. I mean, they just dropped a mobile announcement last night randomly, but presumably know everything up until the end of July. We know Fire Emblem still doesn't have a date, and we just be excited, be prepared. Nintendo has shown this year is a more casual year. They're leaning more casual to build the audience, and it's working. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's another casual or two more casual titles towards the end of the year with some big titles. And I'm sure there's something, at least multiple things we don't know about yet. But just keep expectations in check. Enjoy what we have. Enjoy the games that are out now. Like I was saying at the top of this podcast, that I've been swamped with game chat games because there's just so many games coming out right now. It's like all of it all together. There's just a lot of great games. So enjoy this because we're all eating good. As gamers, we're all eating good. So just have fun, you know, enjoy. Don't ruin things for others. Just be nice, be kind, and look forward to talk to you all in 2 more weeks.
Greg, any closing thoughts?
Yeah, pretty much wrap things up to let's not spoil things. Let's be good humans. Let's not be bad people and eat other people's Cheerios, as the saying goes. So let's try to keep everything nice and clean and not spoil things. Like, just because you enjoy it doesn't mean you have to not wreck the enjoyment of somebody else. So, but yeah, be a lot of fun to be playing Yoshi in the next couple days here.
Yep. Yep. Well, thanks again for joining us. If you've not done so yet, hit that like button if you're watching us on YouTube. If you're listening to us on your favorite podcast app, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes. And if you enjoy this kind of content, please share this with other Nintendo gamers out there as well, because there's a good chance that your friends might also enjoy this. We love increasing and growing this community, and we'd love to have other people join in as well. Again, one more reminder that Patreon is coming soon. So if you guys want to support NintendoFuse, make sure you let us know what you would like to see on that Patreon podcast at nintendofuse.com. Thanks again for joining us, and happy gaming, everybody.
Have a good one.
Take care.